Hi, I'm Femi OK. Thanks for watching the stream. On today's episode, why are we so fascinated by doppelgangers? People who look exactly like us, but are totally unrelated. Here's Professor Adam Galoob.
Doubles, magical twins, doppelgangers have appeared in mythology and literature and folklore in cultures all around the world. In Greek mythology, there's Narcissus, who was obsessed with his own reflection. There's the Egyptian Ka, or spirit double. In Celtic folklore, there's the fetch, a lookalike that appears to us at the moment of our death. The word doppelganger is of German origin, and it means double goer, or double walker. And the figure of the doppelganger began to appear in German literature in the late 18th century, and it represented a second self, an external, non-biological twin that appears to us or visits us, and that usually wants something from us.
We are unpacking the doppelganger phenomenon from a cultural, personal, and scientific perspective. We'd love you to help us. If you're on YouTube, you can let us know your stories, and if you're on Twitter, tweet us the picture of your doppelgang side by side, and we can be the judge. Our Twitter handle is @AJStream. Meet the guest. Charlie Chesson has his own doppelganger. He lives in the US state of Georgia and is an IT professional. Michael Malone, do I need to tell you this, is Charlie's double as well as a close friend, and he's a practice manager and lives in Atlanta. Mustafa Mohammed Koller is Mohammed Sheet's double, and he's a managing director and also joins us from Kaduna. And Mustafa Mohammed Koller is Mustafa Sheet O'Sullivan has a doppelganger. He's a banker and lives in Nigeria in the city of Kaduna. You can see why I'm getting confused. We have MS. MS, say hello. And then we have MK. MK, say hello. And then helping us with the science, thank you, is Dr. Manel Estella, director of the Joseph Carreras Leukemia Research Institute. And he led a team that recently reported on the genetic links between doppelgangers. He joins us from Barcelona. Hello, everybody. All right, MS and MK. How did you find out that you had a doppelganger, and how did you meet? Tell us the story. MS, you start.
All right. I think this was way back in 2005. Then I was doing my MSc in London. I came for holiday, and everywhere I go, I meet people I know, and they're like, I saw someone like you who looks like you, and his name is Mustafa. I was like, okay. It happened one time, second time, third time. And finally, when I went to see my auntie, she was like, you look like my boss's son, and his name is Mustafa. I was like, okay. She was like, look, you have to go see his mom. I said, okay. So on a particular Friday, I went to the office to see her, and I was waiting at the reception, and she came out, looked at me, and said, Mustafa, and she paused. And everyone there stood down and was quiet. And one of the receptionists said, this is not your Mustafa. Just like, okay, because my Mustafa was wearing a shirt this morning, and this one is wearing a thobe. So I was wondering. So she finally met me, told me that she was flying out to go back to school because she was in Richmond in London, and she was flying that evening. So she gave me his phone number. I went back to UK, I think, on a Sunday. And then on a Friday, I rang him up, and he now said, oh, I actually saw you at the mosque. I was like, really? I was calling him to introduce myself. And he was like, I saw you. I was like, okay, you're wearing a brown jacket. And I was like, yeah, that's me. So we, fixed the date to meet. And
so that
was our first.
MS, let me ask MK, what was that like when you saw what looked like yourself? Do you recognize that? Did you recognize that Mustafa looked exactly like you?
At first, yes, I did.
What's it like? What is that like?
And my initial reaction to that was, this has to be the person that everybody keeps saying that I look like.
Right.
There's just no two ways about it.
Charlie and Michael, do Mustafa, do they look like doppelgangers to you? You've lived this for a while now, this life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I could see where we could confuse them. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
What I find fascinating about your stories is that you were friends and you had no idea you were doppelgangers. I mean, looking at you right now, it's like, how is that possible? How did you go through a friendship before you actually realise, hang on a minute, we look like each other? Charlie?
It was...
Yeah, so it's interesting because I think that I'm more Michael's doppelganger than the other way around, because that's kind of really what the way it happened for us is we became friends, but Michael had lived in Atlanta longer than I had, and people kept mistaking me for him. And so really, I think the way that it evolved, besides our friendship evolving, is that we started seeing pictures of us together as we became friends, and as time went on and we would see pictures of each other together at events or whatever. That's when I think it kind of became more obvious to us. But when you're the person, you can see the differences more than the similarities sometimes, right? But I mean, we got mistaken for each other all over the place all the time.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah. So Charlie has a point. It took a while for us to start realizing, because, like he said, people were mistaking him, and we had a common group of friends. We met through music and a band, and Charlie joined the band, and my friends were in the band, and I would guest with them. But then more and more as we were performing, people would ask, are you guys brothers? Are you guys brothers? And that happened to me in a bar one time. Says, do you play guitar with Monkey One? I said, no, that's Charlie. So it came about as people pointing it out to us. Like, people were going up to Charlie, and then people kept pointing it out to us. And then it started happening to me, people mistaking me for Charlie.
I'm going to bring in Victoria, who we spoke to a little bit earlier. And Victoria explained the experience of being confused by somebody who is much more well-known than she is. Let's have a look.
I have been compared to Genevieve Nnaji, Nigerian A-list actress, in the past, and initially I took it as a bit of flattery, but as more and more people said it, both within and outside Nigeria, I began to think it was in fact a kind compliment, although I would comment and say she should look like me because I'm older. However, with time, I would look at her movies and try to see the similarities between us. And I think there's something there. A little bit about the facial structures and the skin complexion as well. I think it's interesting, and I do believe that there are doppelgangers.
Dr. Estella, what are we seeing when we see two people who look really similar, that we call them doppelgangers? What is our eye doing?
So our eye is capturing a mixture of features in the face, the nose, the mouth, the eye, the structure of the bones there. And it's something that we use to recognize our friends and our family. In fact, we like that our sons, they look like us. It's something that they really are our sons, in fact, because they have our genetics. We're sure about that then. That's the case. And it's very interesting because right now the new generations, the teenagers, are starting to look for look-alike people to date them, to go out. And it's very interesting. It's like loving themselves a lot.
I'm wondering if when you have your doppelganger, you like them because they look like you. Charlie, Michael, are really good friends, and they've been friends for a long time. Is it because you're looking at yourself, Charlie?
It's interesting because we hit it off almost from the very beginning and became really close friends, and have remained close friends, for a long time. I think that one of the things we've talked about, though, is the fact that we have this whole experience together of being lookalikes. We have something that with each other that we don't have with any of our other friends, right? Like we have a bond and a connection that's very, very different. I never thought about it from a perspective of, did we initially attract each other, become attracted because we looked alike? It was more along the lines of our personality. But I mean, it's certainly something that's kept us together, and it's an interesting bond to have with somebody that we just don't have with anybody else.
Yeah, there is also the possibility that, remember, we put these people together using facial programs, the same they use in the airport or to open your iPhone. just looking at the face, but maybe they share other stuff, and maybe they like each other because they have common hobbies and common taste. So this can be added to the study.
Dr. Estella, some of your research that you've been doing is based on a photography project. This is Francoise Brunel's photography project. Let me show you here. It's I'm Not a Lookalike, and I'm just going to scroll down here. I'm looking for two particular people. Here we go. I'm not sure they look like doppelgangers. This is Nuno and this is Miguel. We spoke to them a little bit earlier to talk about how people do think they look exactly alike. Let's have a look.
One day I started working in a new office, and when I got there, Miguel was there, and he was so similar to me in all aspects that I felt weird, and it was a very uncanny feeling. And it felt like I had an existential problem, like I was there already when I arrived.
We found that we have also some other similarities, like some tastes on stuff and whatnot, like music, high fidelity. We work on the same area. We are both developers, and that's pretty much it.
All right, Dr. Estella, I do not think Nuno and Miguel look like each other. What will we be looking at in their faces to say, okay, these faces are similar?
Yeah, so the degree of look-alike, it has a lot of a window there. It can be very wide. For example, the people that are perfect look-alike are what we call real twins or monozygotic twins. And they have people like this in this study that they have these similar features. Some of them are, imagine, 90%, some 70, some 80, 60%, etc. This depends. That's the reason we choose these more objective programs, these facial algorithms, to really tell which ones are the closest. And it depends. And there are lookalike that they share 70%, others share 60%, others share 80%. It depends of each couple.
MS and MK, what would you like to ask Dr. Estella now that you have him here and he's been studying doppelgangers?
MK, you want to go first?
MS, you start.
Okay.
I just want to know, what are those genes that makes us look alike? Aside the physical looks, we have similar characteristics as well. Some pattern of our lifestyles are the same as well. So what are those genes that make us so?
With parliamentarians, it actually became a meme, and some of the members attending were like, Obama graced us with his presence at this competition.
MS, I can see you chuckling. Was that a baby Obama or not? What do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah, everyone's like, yep, totally a baby Obama. Or
we go to every year. That's right. Party, I don't know.
Michael,
masquerade party we go to every year.
Okay.
We've got similar to what he said. We've got similar interests, similar business interests, similar development interests. We support the same football team, and.
It's good to look at someone who looks like you, right?
It's good to have someone that looks like you.
Who's not an evil twin? Charlie, Michael, Mustafa, Dr. Estella, thank you so much. And all of the doppelgangers that sent us your comments to be part of this program. Appreciate you. See you next time. Take care.